P.A.RODY here in Singapore. That's right, new destination, the city-state of Singapore. A big attraction here is to get caned. I'm looking forward to it. You know, you gotta be rich to afford a really good caning, and well, that's what Singapore is famous for, as you know. So I'm gonna go order up a few canings for myself, maybe chew some gum, jaywalk, don't flush the toilet, and for those things you will get caned. Oh yes. Maybe I'll even spray paint my name on a car, P.A.RODY.
Other offenses for which you will be caned in Singapore. If someone holds the door open for you and you do not say thank you, you will be caned. If you play any recordings by Kenny G, you will be caned. If you name your child Skylar or Tanner, you will be caned. Beware.
So I hope you're enjoying the construction site over there, the brand new P.A.RODY skyscraper. And it's a gorgeous sunset due to the pollution from my oil refineries. There's the symbol of Singapore, the lion. And of course there's the Washington Monument. P.A.RODY here, sitting in a nice peaceful spot, enjoying the waterfront here in Singapore. Singapore is on an island at the tip, the southern tip of the Malaysian mainland. Get out your maps and look up Malaysia, and then you'll see Singapore in this tiny little tip. About 240 square miles or some crap like that. Population 3.5 million people. P.A.RODY here, still in Singapore. Now we are in this beautiful, giant, festive food bazaar, a gigantic food court, and it's filled with life. There are outdoor cafes and little eateries right here. It's really quite lovely. It's late at night in Singapore, right in downtown, and yet look at it, it's filled with life. So I just want to let you know that if you're hungry for some scenery and for food, come to Singapore, because you get all the food you want as well as all the great scenery. Lovely little spot. Of course, I'll have to tear this down too to make way for the downtown Rody Mart convenience store. But I'm enjoying it in the meantime. So I'll see you later at our next stop here in Singapore tomorrow. P.A.RODY here in the Botanical Gardens in Singapore. It's a beautiful, lush place filled with flowers and all kinds of different trees. It's a place people come to find peace and relaxation in the city. Now, as you might know, Singapore's #1 export is oil refining. Not oil itself, but the oil refining. That's their #1 industry. Oil refineries. So I have bought up this whole property, as expensive as it is, because I can see the profit in it. I'm going to set up a huge oil refinery, oil wells all over here, and refineries. Huge smokestacks billowing out whatever it takes to get that oil refined. Singapore is made up of 4 ethnic groups: the Chinese, the Malaysians, the Indians, and the Klingons. Now be careful with those Klingons, they cane you even more intensely than the regular Singapore authorities. Now, we are about to go on a sky ride, and if you want to get a little extra high on the sky ride, well, don't even think about bringing marijuana, because they will execute you. Get high naturally. It's the only way to do it if you want to survive here in Singapore. And now here is the mascot of the island, Puff the Magic Dragon. This is Sentosa Island. It's a resort island right next to Singapore, and that's where we are. I want to see you in a bikini. We're on a little monorail thing, not quite as sleek as the one in Seattle, but that's all right. Still a very pleasant ride. You can see a lot of vegetation and greenery and villages, which I'll soon be bulldozing over to put up some condominiums. I'm always making land deals everywhere I go. So you won't see this anymore either. Oh, it's kind of hard to make out the detail on it. Yeah, from the lighting.
That's a merlion. And that sprinkles. Did you see all those little sprinkle water out?
This is the Ritz-Carlton. Very luxurious. As you can see, we have a view of the harbor and the city. And the room itself is not too shabby either.
This is one luxurious hotel room, but of course, this is what I'm accustomed to being P.A.RODY, the multi-millionaire. I'm always attaining the very best hotel rooms and going for only the highest quality in choices of travel accommodations. So this is just a sampling of where I've been, but I just thought you, the viewing audience, who will never be able to afford a room at the Ritz-Carlton in Singapore, would like to see this. I wanted to share this with you, the common people back home in America. And of course the good folks in my hometown of Detroit, Michigan, who've been suffering so badly since I closed all my manufacturing plants there and moved them all overseas to China. Now then, I might be even taking a bubble bath a little bit later. You never know if I feel like it. After all, I have all day just to relax and enjoy the view. Maybe do a little bit of shopping. Maybe buy a yacht. Maybe I'll buy a Mercedes-Benz. They're extra expensive here, you know. When you buy a car here in Singapore, you have a 100% tax on buying that car if it's a regular car, and a 200% tax if it's a luxury car. So if I buy a Mercedes and it costs, say, $50,000, there's another $100,000 tax added onto it automatically. That's the way it is here in Singapore. And you only get to keep it for 10 years, and then you have to sell it back to the government at the cost that they choose to give you. Then they sell it to the people in Malaysia for 3 or 4 times the price. Now that's my kind of wheeling and dealing. These Singapore government officials, they're right after my own heart. I love them all so dearly.
You'll adore Singapore, and now here's a little more. P.A.RODY here. I decided to go for a walk here in Singapore after all. Yes, it's hot and humid, but I'm used to it because, as you know, I'm originally from Houston, Texas. And Houston is extraordinarily hot and humid. And as you know, I now live in Detroit, Michigan, and it gets very hot and muggy there in the summertime, so I'm used to it. Everywhere I go, it's hot and humid. So, as I was walking along, I saw a nice little piece of oceanfront property. It's beautiful. Perfect location, right on the harbor, and I decided to purchase it. It's right there behind me. Look at that. Now, there was no construction going on when I walked by it a couple hours ago, but as soon as I bought it, they started constructing something big on it. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's for me and my empire. So I'm sure it's going to be good in Singapore.
I'd come across time for you anywhere that it may lead me to, any time in history. Wherever the future may be, I'd come across